Yep.
All right, so who's next on this? I have a feeling. Yeah, Mariah again. Now, okay, here's the thing with this album, right? This no, I actually have a
Okay,
good I have a
okay.
good.
Let me hear this. Let me hear this.
This is one of Mariah's, or probably is Mariah's greatest album, generally speaking, and I think a lot of people may agree. I could be wrong. You could let me know in the comments if I'm absolutely wrong about this. But this album was what was her first album, and it was a Vision of Love that basically got her to number one on the charts, or whatever the case may be. But this showed vocal prowess from a young, I think she was what, 19 or 20, and belting notes that women in their 50s and 60s who've been trained throughout their careers, like the Patti LaBelle's and the the Gladys Knights and them pelting notes. And here's this young girl. She's like, I had a vision of love singing, taking over the radio, and there's so many other aspects of this too. The pop era. This was probably one of the nicest albums that I've heard. A nice combination of, there's some Carol King on it too. So you get that kind of dynamic because when you hear a Carol King song, you kind of know it's a Carol King song compared to the Mariah pop. And it have that kind of pop drum sound. And they were kind of now getting into the electronic side of things. I believe a lot of these things would have been live instruments and live vocals. Well, of course, live vocals. And they did a lot of vocal stacking for the harmonies, and she utilized a lot of voices to layer stuff. So it was just really pretty to hear. And I always wanted to know how you did this and the whistle. Look, I'm done. That's enough of a rant today, guys. we
Wow. Wow.
we have we
Okay,
have
we,
na-
we, we clearly understand she really likes Mariah because Mariah was twice on the list. Twice.
yeah, twice. But don't worry, it have more to come. Not Mariah though. It have more to come. It have more to come. All right, let's see what is next.
Oh, Mick Jenkins, Elephant
Mm-hmm.
in the Room. This was another hard choice
Mm.
because since the first time I came across Mick Jenkins, and I think that was with Waters was the name of the album.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm like, okay, cool. Then I realized when I chose this one, I was like, you know what? The reason I stuck with this album is because this album dealt with a lot of social issues, and it
He's paused for a moment because the album is very deep.
it
People.
is it is it actually is it
Yeah.
is because there's a song on it where it deals with what they deal with in the US with the police brutality.
Hmm.
um so, I mean, the name of the album is The Elephant in the Room.
Yeah. Okay. The elephant in the room is, but I mean,
Right.
it's not a
The,
political
and
podcast too. Yeah. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
and then even with the album art, there's a monkey on his back.
Right. So it's layers of very
Yeah.
good complex of layers of
Yep.
analysis. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the production, the wordplay. I
Hmm.
mean, there's one of the songs where when I'm now listening to the song, now sometimes I'm listening to music and my flute is in my hand. And according to what chords I'm hearing in the music, I might just decide, hey, let me just,
Fiddle.
fiddle around in these chords. And that happened a good 2 or 3 times with this album because I mean he's based in Chicago. Chicago has a very rich jazz history. So there
Mm.
are a lot of rappers that come out of Chicago, especially those that are independent. You always hear at some point in time you're going to get some jazz in that music. And I just love that meshing of those two art forms.
Mm.
So yeah,
Hmm.
Elephant in the Room, Mick Jenkins.
So, guys, there's an elephant in the room, and you need to go and listen to this album.
Yeah.
I just said all of that, so just go. Do us both a favor and just go. All
Yeah.
right, so I'm scared as to what the next one might be. Oh, okay. So I don't know if you all seeing this properly, so I'll try and blow it up. So
Mm.
this is John Mayer's Continuum, and for a lot of people who understood what went on with John Mayer and this Continuum album, they said at the time it would have been his best work ever, and I kind of agree to some extent because he really dug deep and he took pop music and guitar because he's a guitarist to a different level. So yes, you'll have all of John's old stuff like "Stop the Train" and "What Stop the Train," whatever, 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 whatever.
Is
But
this the album that had Gravity on it?
yes, it is. It is the album
Oh,
that had Gravity and Battle
yeah, that
Studies.
era, that era
Yeah,
of John Mayer
yeah,
was, yeah.
really powerful. The studio work and the attention to detail that he goes into. In particular on this album, there's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't think of doing on guitar. And I mean, yes, I get it. He's one of those kinds of musicians that when he writes his stuff, he's always thinking about what other chords to stack on top of a chord because John is that kind of a guy. But that album was just it's just very well placed. And Gravity, deep,
Mm.
deep blues, um
Like
well
that song is
designed.
timeless.
Yeah. 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 And the two of us sit down here dumb just like
Yeah, yeah. I could vouch for that album based on that one song.
yeah,
That's about it.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. I agree. All right, let's see who's next. Let's see who's next.
Mm.
Oh, wait, how did this happen? Really? Let's just
That's
make sure. Okay, it's me twice. All
okay.
right.
That was my accident.
That's okay. No, that's perfect.
That means I had to
So
think twice just now. Damn it.
so John, as everybody know, he's a guitarist. And he's known for his chord selection, I would say, and his chord voicings. And this particular album was just him alone on guitar, which is the goal for, I would say, for any solo artist who plays an instrument, is for them to shine. Now, mind you, John is not really the greatest vocalist on the face of this planet. Let's just be real. I'm going to tell you as a kind of a singer, John is not the greatest vocalist. However, to sing and play some of this stuff on this album is not a walk in the park. And the kind of chord voicings that he uses and the fact that it was just him alone, and you would swear that there was like three or four other guitars literally in studio with him. You know what I mean? And every song is different. Like Neon, there's an acoustic. There's two versions of Neon. There's one that is a pop version, but the acoustic version is mind blowing to me, and it's just like drop C tuning. Who gonna drop C tune the guitar just so out of boredom? What you mean? What you mean? You know? And then of course now I always wonder, how John makes all these chords, and it's probably because his hands are much bigger than the average human. So he does stretch like 12 frets and make all this sort of inversion thing that some of us don't even and can't do. So yeah, there you have it. John Mayer inside, once out. I said it. This is the album that I would take with me if we got stranded in Tobago.
Wow.
Ah.
Mm.
Mm.
What could I say about this album, boy? To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar, K Dot, Kung Fu Kenny, King Kunta. Anyways, I mean, there's actually a song on this album called King Kunta. No, I'm not saying this is his best album, but if you want an album to start knowing who Kendrick Lamar is, you can start here, you can go back, and then you can come forward.
Mm.
All right. Because this is a good starting point. Because, and this album actually helped me win debates too. Because somebody was, I can't remember who it was telling me, oh, rap music don't have music in it, ting, ting, ting. And I was like, yo, it has music. No, it don't. And then boom, this album came out, and you have Robert Glasper, Kamisi Washington. I can't remember the other two jazz musicians' names on this album. And I'm like, here's the music
That
in
you
the
were
rap
looking for.
album. Exactly. You know, and there's that. Then there, because this is one of those albums where you could hear he was dealing with his alcoholism and whatever other addictions, and realizing, a lot of things that, to be honest, if you listen to this album, then you listen to Damn, and then you listen to Big Steppers,
Mm.
you would see the growth and how we reach the Big Steppers.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's like, it's a good album to start.
Start. Right.
You've never
Right.
listened to Kendrick Lamar before, you could start on To Pimp a Butterfly, and either move back or move forward, your
Work your
choice.
way up. Yeah.
Work
Work
your
your
way
way up.
up, But is, once again, wordplay, music, the content of the album. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh,
Two.
ah,
How
and
ironic.
Robert Gasp, the Robert Gasper, Black Radio 2. Now, I mean, there's Black Radio 1, there's Black Radio 2, there's Black Radio 3. I think he dropped Black Radio 4 last year or earlier this year, or was it some other thing? Can't remember. But reason why I would go with Black Radio 2. Now, every Black Radio experiment, he has a bunch of other musicians and artists that we know come in to be on this album.
Mm.
Right? And one of the staples is Erica Badu. Right? So, you're getting a little Erica Badu on that, right?
Mm.
Again, let me just call out the name of the artists that on this album. You have Lupe Fiasco, Faith
We.
Marsha Ambrosia, Jill Scott, Common, Anthony Hamilton, Nora Jones, Brandy, Dwele. I mean, and
Some legends there, boy. Some
you
legends.
understand? So it's like, on this one, oh, Snoop Dogg, sorry, Layla Hathaway,
What, Layla?
Stevie Wonder.
See?
All right, and that's just the normal version. If you get the deluxe version, you have Jasmine Solomon, Macy Gray. Like, yo,
Basically, free collabs on one album.
one
Yeah,
album,
with all your
like,
favorite with all your
it's
favorite artists.
like with all your favorite artists, all on one album. It's a jazz album. It's a jazz hip hop album. It's music. You're gonna listen to this album and be like, yo, like, what else do I need, man? Like,
Mm.
I know Black Radio 1 and 3, but I could only choose one.
Mm.
So Black Radio 2.
Alright. Okay, Black Radio 2 it is. Okay, so let's talk about the Carpenters. Jehiah just out here. Listen to me, eh? The kind of conversations we be having. People know me know that I love the Carpenters. More so because of Karen Carpenter's voice. She was easily one of the greatest vocalists. Like you could listen to a lot of voices on radio and you'd ask like, who's that? And you'd be like, oh, okay. But if I were to play a Carpenter song for you now, you will know that it's Karen Carpenter. More so, Richard, her brother, I think that's his name. Yeah, he is the instrumentalist. He's like the yeah, he's one of the greatest, I think, musical arrangers, because he basically would write a lot of stuff on piano and then kind of orchestrate the different parts And when they're doing a lot of the recording, they would layer different things one on top of each other. By the way, Karen also used to sing and play drums. So imagine, like, you have this kind of and it's, I would say, a dynamic duo of sorts, because they were like um they were I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna have to. A lot of people call them the white bread pop of America at the time. This was
White.
70s. Yeah. Yeah. They were in they basically topped the charts for pop music. They took over a lot of radio, took over a lot of TV, and they were kind of like the clean, non-political musical duo that just created good music. You know, there was nothing scandalous about the music. There was nothing talking about drugs, nothing. So they were just talking about love. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eye. Like, who thinks of writing a song that talks about not a cloud in the sky, but have this, but the sun in my eye? Like, nowadays, everybody talking about taking something and hurting somebody else. This is in absolute contrast to that. So yeah, and then of course another greatest hits, which means to get access to all of the hits from each one of the
Mm-hmm.
albums.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
I was just ignoring that line.
The little greatest hits at the bottom of
Yeah.
the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, this is
the
interesting.
Sam Stone. This is some serious white boy music, but this is one of those albums that I can sing word for word.
mm,
Um, is usually the album, like, I think I told somebody this recently. Like, if you pass by me and the killer Sam Stone is playing loudly and I'm doing something, it's usually because I'm fighting myself to go and do that said thing, and it's helping distract me from what I'm doing. And not distract in a bad way, because the songs, each of the songs on this album tell a story.
mm,
And for me, that is part of the lyrical content as well. You have songs in it talking about, um my uncle, when everybody else refrained, my uncle chose to do cocaine.
hmm,
And talking about, what happened to his uncle because his uncle chose to do cocaine.
hmm,
Right. Then you have songs that, it's like ask questions that some of us don't really want to ask. Like, if you know our days numbered, why we keep counting the days?
hmm.
You understand? So it's like one of those albums I just generally listen to and enjoy. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else is it is. If you've never listened to it, cool. If you want to listen to it, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite albums. Right?
Hmm.
There's no reason for me to tell you go and listen to this. All the other albums, yeah, I have reasons to tell you go and listen to it. This one, eh.
Just go. Just go. Just go. Don't ask no questions. Just go. All right. What's next? Oh my god. Okay. So I'm sorry that I said that on live YouTube. I don't mean it like that. But when I remember distinctly getting my first Aaliyah CD. Now, again, for the people who must be listening and watching this, they be like, "How old is Aaliyah?" I just made out my whole age. I grew up in the times of like diskettes and cassettes. Maybe not so much vinyl and stuff, because that was before, like right before. But we were also in the age of CDs, and in this at this time, they'd have just single side CDs, so people was literally just putting like, I think it was something like 17 songs on the CD. um, and this album in particular was really good, coming from a young lady, um, who again now I will say this: Aaliyah was always a performer, and she can dance. Not the greatest of singers, but it was about the image that she was given. Um, the I'm not interested in the whole, the political talk with particular relationships. I am talking about her as an artist on this album. This album really kind of showed who she was, I would say, and I think this was the last album before she died, and she really was just. I would say, all of the producers that work with her on this, you don't really get R and Princess R&B vibe anymore. I would say, um, you don't get a wide variety of samples that pull in to create a track. Everybody kind of using all the same samples, same 808 pattern subs, whatever. She would just use a guitar and a horn, and that's a whole hit song right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, this was one, and this was the last. This is the one album that I got for Christmas
Oh.
after she died. Yeah, yeah. So I will take this one with me to Tobago too.
Oh Lord, I have to explain this next one. Actually, I don't. I don't.
Then
Those who
on
know me, those who
Radiohead.
know me.
That's it, guys. Bye. This is a good selection, by the way. I
this,
will also just
this,
interrupt this programming to say that Radiohead is one of the greatest bands,
mhm.
musically
Now,
wise. Yeah, go ahead, take it away, Jehiah. I
I
must stop interrupt.
in particularly, I am choosing In Rainbow's Deluxe Edition because you get both CD1 and CD2.
Mm.
Well, it's one album, eh? Right. Um, but this was the first Radiohead album I actually listened to. Because before I was just hearing one song from, things from Pablo Honey and OK Computer and the
Mm.
previous albums. But then this was the first time I was like, okay, this album dropped. Let me actually go listen to the whole album. And right off the bat, you have a song in 5/4.
Hmm. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay. Kind of like a Tool, ocean size kind of vibe.
Yeah, so it's like right off the bat, song that's in 5/4. Then you have song that when you actually listen to the lyrics is like this is a love song, but it doesn't feel like a love song.
Mm. Mm.
Um
So kind of like not your typical structure
it's not
in
a
a way.
typical structure. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
listening to the songs is you hear the influence of some jazz music in there. You hear the influence of I forget this guy's name, Neil Young.
Mm.
Um yeah, but you know what? This is the album that you would find me listening to from time to time, or songs from this album. Sometimes I will listen to the whole album. Sometimes I might just listen to a few songs from the album.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might hear me actually playing on the flute, one of the songs on the album.
Hmm.
Right. And I remember somebody was asking, if there's 5 songs I had to choose somebody to know me out of 5 songs. One of the songs is from this album.
Mm. Hmm.
Right. So yeah, that's about all I can really say about this. But then again, those who know me would see this and just see Radiohead. I'm like, okay, sure, that's Jehiah.
Yeah.
Great.
Guys, I think that's all 10 each. That was
Mm-hmm.
20 slides. We went through a whole PowerPoint presentation just for you.
Yes, yes.
So go listen to the music now. Um, More than that, this episode most likely will get split into two so that people could get time to, if they need to scroll back. I'll also try to add some time stamps at some point. These things, take some time to edit some of these videos.
Yeah.
Um, any last words to the people, Jehiah? Anything? I know
Um,
J4 has been doing some stuff. I know you took a little break.
yeah, because I was sick.
What going on? What going on?
Um, well, I don't know when this video is going up, but new video is supposed to come out tomorrow.
Nice.
It's going to be Christmas stuff for the whole of December. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. That's working on some stuff in the meantime. Hopefully that drops soon on streaming platforms near you.
Nice.
Yeah, that I think that's about it right now. I am yeah. Everything else I just not feeling to talk about it because I'm still trying to figure out what it is exactly.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our top 10 selection
It's not
list.
top 10.
Well, it's not 10.
It's
If
at
we
10.
if
It's
we
at
had to pack an emergency bag right now to flee Trinidad and Tobago, and all you had was CDs to carry, that's 10 CDs we take it.
exactly.
Right, that's how we thinking about it. Take them 10 CDs. Um, guys, that's all for now. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You'll see the little ticker. Go to the website if you want to see more content. Or any other announcements. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, season 5 finale. We have some things planned, so stay tuned for that. And if this ending that I'm using happens twice, don't worry. As I said before, this video is going to get split into two. So one will come out this Friday, and the next one will come out next Friday. But that's all for now. You can find all the information on our website at the bottom of the screen, www.forthemostpowerpodcast.com. And we shall see you all, and we shall hear you all on the next one. Peace out. Go listen to the albums. Go and listen to the albums.
All of them.
All 20. I given all you a week. Or, well, no, it'll have to be 2 weeks now because
Yeah, 2 weeks.
all 20. Goodbye.